Fine. Yeah, fine. And I'll get out of the way. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah. Understood, thanks. Sally, bye. 1 minute, thank you. Well, this was a significant operation, both on behalf of police here in the UK, but also authorities based in China. Jimin Qian was responsible between 2014 and 2017 of a huge fraud when she was based in China. She effectively set up a Ponzi scheme, a pyramid scheme, and encouraged people to invest in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. For people who aren't familiar, that cryptocurrency is a digital currency, one that doesn't exchange hand to hand. It's one that isn't regulated by any financial institutions such as banks. It's highly volatile in terms of how much it's worth from day to day. And Qian got people to invest in this currency when the assets didn't exist. So she was effectively taking these investments and putting them aside for herself, investing them in her own Bitcoin, her own cryptocurrency. A lot of victims in China itself. Authorities here in the UK and in China estimate 128,000 people were encouraged to make these fraudulent investments. We've heard a few victim impact statements read out in court on behalf of some of those victims in China. We've heard about destroyed families. We've heard about people who have not been able to pay for their medical bills. We've heard about people who haven't been able to send their children to school. Qian then fled China in 2017 and ended up here in the UK. She was using a stolen identity, which meant she was able to evade justice for many, many years. She actually ended up renting a high-end property in Hampstead in North London, and it was there that she hired a personal assistant to do her daily bidding, to go out and exchange more Bitcoin for her. Basically what we heard in court was it was Qian's intention to keep herself as far away from the Bitcoin and from any traces of the money as she possibly could. But we heard that while Chian was here in the UK from 2017 onwards, she lived a very lavish lifestyle. We heard that shortly after she arrived in the UK in September 2017, she spent almost £100,000 at Harrods in the space of a 3-month period. We heard her spending money on designer jewellery, clothes, shoes, and living a life of luxury. She effectively went under the radar here in the UK until her arrest in April of last year. Well, she was caught when police were able to trace an associate of hers, Seng Hot Ling, who is actually also jailed today for his role in assisting Chian. They were able to trace him to a residential address in York, and we've received body cam footage from the UK police which shows that moment of arrest at this rather unassuming housing estate in York in North Yorkshire. We understand they weren't expecting to find Jimin Chian there. Well, they were just expecting to find her associate, but police were surprised when they got there and they found Jimin Chian in bed, and from some of the other body cam footage we've seen as well of the police contact with Chian over the years, she was also in bed as well. We heard from one of her assistants that she whiled away many of her days when she wasn't spending lots of money by gaming and online shopping in bed. So police arrested her in April 2024. Her trial was due to begin in September of this year, so only a month or so ago. Just before that trial was due to start, she pleaded guilty to those charges against her. It's meant that the sentencing hearing that we've been listening to today and yesterday has been a little bit longer than maybe other sentencing hearings, because it's been the first time we've heard in court these facts laid out exactly about who Chian was and the scale of her offending. Yeah, that's right. When she first arrived here in the UK, 2017-2018, she asked her assistant to try and source high-value property for her. She eventually found a house that she liked, as you describe, in North London. And when she was going through the process of trying to exchange and complete on that home, the solicitor involved in that purchase wanted to know, and she was using the Bitcoin that she'd fraudulently received to try and pay for this property, and the solicitor wanted to know exactly how she'd got hold of that money, and Chian couldn't come up with a reason as to why she'd legitimately got hold of this Bitcoin. She said it had just been mined and some of it was a personal gift, but she was unable to provide any evidence for this. So that was the reason the solicitor got in touch with the police here in the UK. That was in late 2017, and that's when the interest in Chian was piqued by on behalf of police here in the UK. But it is worth mentioning, we've had quite a number of good lines from the Metropolitan Police here in the UK who have talked about the scale of this. When they uncovered some laptops in one of the searches of a property associated with Chian, they discovered cryptocurrency stored in these laptops, which in today's value is worth more than £5 billion, and the Met Police saying that that is the largest seizure of cryptocurrency in the world, and certainly the largest money laundering cases have ever had to deal with to this date in the UK. Yeah. It is a massive number, Regina. Yeah, it's staggering. 128,000 people, and we heard that one of the ways that Chan was able to lure people in was with glitzy promo adverts, glitzy sort of launch galas. So giving this company, these investments, an air of legitimacy, and we, the BBC, have spoken. Our colleagues in China have actually spoken to a number of victims. I think we might be able to see some of their report in the coming hours. But in court, we heard some of the victim impact statements. Just a tiny proportion of those hundreds of thousands of people who described the fact that they had, investing in this fraudulent company in Bitcoin, they had lost their life savings. We heard of marriages breaking down. We heard of families breaking down. We heard of people losing their lives because of this, because they could no longer afford to pay for healthcare. We heard of people not being able to send their children to school. And one of the questions raised in court is how some of these funds that were seized by police in the UK could be used to compensate some of these victims, and what happens to the funds now. And we've got in touch with the Home Office, who says that the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service, is looking at how those funds can be redistributed and what happens to them now. Yeah, she did, and that's something that we heard in court, that she never stopped planning what to do with her wealth. We heard that she dressed lavishly. As you said, we heard about Liberland, this unrecognised piece of territory in Eastern Europe that she was determined to become the leader of. She was dubbed by some of her victims in China as the goddess of wealth. The key, wrongly of course, to people being able to become wealthy. We've seen her photos of her dressed very lavishly, but she cut a very different figure in the dock over the past couple of days. She was dressed in a green and white floral Chinese qibao, a traditional Chinese dress, and she spent much of the 2 days in this sentencing hearing very emotional. She frequently wiped tears away from her face. She looked straight ahead at the judge while she was delivering her remarks. Her bottom lip was trembling with emotion throughout most of these 2 days. She actually did sit and listen to the proceedings through a Mandarin interpreter, and she only spoke to confirm her details. But she cut a very different figure to this goddess of wealth we've heard so much about. I'll move out of the way. Do you have a time? Right now? Streaming, I don't know if you can hear me, but is it the CPS? Sorry. CPS. And Metropolitan. Yeah. Thank you. Streaming, can you hear me? Gallery, can you hear me? Hello. So we have two people, someone from the Met Police, someone from the Crown Prosecution Service, who are due to come out any minute. So I don't know how long this VT is, but you might want to come out a bit early, or you can throw to me afterwards if they're still not here, and we can talk until they come out. Okay. I'll stay in frame for the time being. Yeah, of course. Sorry. There. They're coming out. They're coming out.
I think so. A bit closer. Just stay here. Okay.
A bit closer, a bit
Yep.
closer.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. I'm Lyne. I'm the head of economic and cybercrime at the Metropolitan Police. Today's sentencing brings to a close one of the largest, longest and most complex economic crime investigations ever undertaken by the Metropolitan Police. Operation Manna lasted more than 7 years and has demanded persistence, innovation and collaboration at every stage. It reflects the extraordinary dedication of the officers and staff who have delivered it. As part of this investigation, we seized over 61,000 Bitcoin, now worth approximately £5 billion, alongside other non-crypto assets valued at more than £20 million. This currently represents the largest confirmed cryptocurrency seizure anywhere in the world and the biggest money laundering investigation in UK investigative history by value. The assets are subject to separate and ongoing civil proceedings led by colleagues at the Crown Prosecution Service, so I cannot comment further on that process at this time. But this case is about far more than the assets seized. These funds originated from a large-scale fraud that targeted and harmed more than 128,000 victims in China from 2014 to 2017. Many people lost their life savings, and the emotional and financial impact on them was devastating. Today's outcome is a step towards justice for those victims. Money laundering enables and supports serious criminality across our communities, and organised crime groups increasingly use cryptocurrency to move, hide and invest their ill-gotten gains. Developments in technology are exploited by criminals, but also provide opportunities for us seeking to stop them. Every cryptocurrency transaction leaves a trace. The Met's dedicated cryptocurrency team, working meticulously with partners, continually adapts and innovates our response to organised crime, meaning that, even in the digital age, criminals have nowhere to hide. The success of this investigation has depended on partnerships with the Crown Prosecution Service, the National Crime Agency, and overseas law enforcement partners. We work closely with the Chinese authorities. Before the defendants entered guilty pleas, Chinese police officers were due to testify live in a UK court for the first time, and 18 victims were due to give evidence via video link. Today's outcome sends a clear message. Criminal assets are not safe in the UK. The Metropolitan Police and our partners remain committed towards protecting the public and dismantling organised crime networks, no matter how complex they are or how global they may be. We will continue to pursue those who seek to profit from harming our communities and ensure that justice is delivered for all victims. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Neil Colville. I'm from the Serious Economic Organised Crime Division from the CPS. Today, we have seen the sentencing of Ziman Chan, aka Yardi Zhang, and Seng Hock Ling, which has led to their imprisonment. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are increasingly being used by organised criminals to disguise and transfer assets so that fraudsters may enjoy the benefits of their criminal conduct. This case, involving the largest cryptocurrency seizure in the UK, illustrates the scale of criminal proceeds available to those fraudsters. The imprisoning of Chan and Ling marks the culmination of many years of complex and detailed work by both the Metropolitan Police and the Crown Prosecution Service. The fact that the defendants pleaded guilty are testament to the thoroughness of the investigation and prosecution. The CPS will now work to ensure, through criminal confiscation and civil proceedings, that the criminal assets, worth now around 4.8 billion, used by Chan and Jian Wen to fund their extravagant lifestyle are seized. The CPS is committed to working closely with law enforcement and investigatory authorities to bring justice to individuals and companies who engage in laundering criminal proceeds of cryptocurrency fraud. Thank you.
So we just heard there from both the Metropolitan Police and the Crown Prosecution Service. Will Lyne from the Met Police was first. He outlined how significant this investigation was for the UK authorities, as it's the largest, longest and most complex economic crime investigations. It lasted more than 7 years. He talked about those 128,000 people in China, many of whom lost their life savings. He talked about how organised crime groups shouldn't feel safe here in the UK, wherever they are.